There's a war brewing right now in Japan for freedom of expression. For those that want to express themselves within manga, anime, light novels, or games, Japan is sick and tired of having to censor that. They're sick and tired of people coming into their culture, coming into their communities, and instead of peacefully integrating, they are trying to get the culture and community of Japan to self-censor itself and also to meet a global standard in the West. Japan is done. They've had enough, and there's been a lot of industry veterans on the anime and manga side that have been very outspoken about this. And there is a newcomer that has thrown their hat into the ring, and that is the Black Lagoon Author. And so let's talk about that. So I guess I should give a summary here to why the Black Lagoon Author decided to pitch their hat into the ring when it comes to the whole censorship stuff and expressing yourself within anime or manga. So there is some drama right now within the Japanese community, within Japan, about Clamp. And yes, you heard me right, the Japanese community. This isn't the West, this isn't people in the West and crazy schizos in the West. Apparently Japan also has quite a few schizos that do the exact same thing, where they're not able to separate fiction from reality, which is crazy. Honestly, there's definitely been an uptick, an increase of people like this within Japan, and I think a lot of people within Japan are starting to notice this, and I think one of the reasons why this has started to happen is because of the increased popularity of anime and manga. I know I talk about this a lot, but it is still very relevant. Ever since anime has exploded in the last 5 years, there's been a lot of conversations like this that has increasingly gotten more traffic as time goes on, and it's clear Japan is done with it. They are upset, they're not having it, and you have creators within the space, animators and authors, just instantly shutting this down, and they're just outright outspoken against it. They're like, we're not going to censor ourselves, we're going to express ourselves with in our work how we want. We don't care. And I appreciate that. I appreciate the spine and backbone from these creators that are doing this, because I think we can all agree, the reason why we love anime, the reason why we love manga, and different things that come from Japan is because it is Japanese. It's not trying to fit to global standards. It's not trying to be the next Disney. It's not trying to be the next, like, Hollywood. It's its own thing. And a lot of people that have gravitated towards anime and manga over the years, it's because it's weird. It's because it's different. It's because it's strange. And if you try to water it down and make it very, like, lukewarm and not what it once was, it's basically going to shift away from why it became popular in the first place. And this conversation obviously is gaining a lot of traction. A lot of the mainstream within Japan is now becoming aware of this issue at hand. And thanks to the author of Black Lagoon pitching their own voice into the situation, it's definitely causing even more people within Japan to become aware of it. Because you gotta remember, this is the Japanese side of social media. This is not the Western side of social media. This is the Japanese side. So these are people that never really interact with the English-speaking community or other different type of languages. They just strictly speak to others in Japan. And they're now finding out about the situation, and they're now even finding out about the localization stuff that's going on, for instance, with Crunchyroll or different manga series, which I've talked about already extensively in the past, but now they're finding out about that. And a lot of authors and creators and animators were completely unaware that some of their works have been tampered with, messed with, and changed to fit modern audiences or global standards. And there's definitely going to be an increase of voices outspoken against that as time goes on, as more and more of the Japanese public becomes aware of it. But I'm getting ahead of myself. We need to talk about the reason why these words from the author of Black Lagoon is so significant. Now, the reason why these words in the Black Lagoon Author is so significant is because it's not strictly about fan service. It's not strictly about content that is completely on the sexual side of things. It's about content that the way the author wants to express themselves, put a piece of their soul within their work. For instance, if they're writing something, or drawing something, or animating something, usually a creator wants to put a piece of themselves within that piece of work that they're working on. And if they're forced to censor that and not allow themselves to put that within their work, is it really theirs anymore? Is it really their manga? Is it really their anime? And so what these words more or less are trying to say is that an author should be able to put whatever they want into it, their own fetishes or whatever they want to put in, a piece of themselves within the series, because that's how they're expressing themselves to the world. It's what sets apart their work from everyone else's, is because a piece of them is within that said work. And that is basically what's going on here, is that if you have manga and anime and light novels and games censor itself and the creators have to self-censor themselves, that essence, that soul that is supposed to be there will no longer exist. And so you have a lot of people speaking out about this, and I really appreciate the Black Lagoon author willing to say something like this, because the author's definitely been going through quite a bit as of late for the last few years, and especially in just this last year alone. I've made a video talking about it, and for those that are unaware, I'll give you a brief rundown, but the author of Black Lagoon has been going through a lot of depression for a very long time. I have a very detailed video discussing that, but it's very clear just in the last few years that the author is becoming better. They are overcoming their depression, and it's good news overall. And the fact that they're so outspoken and being so passionate about this conversation, I think speaks a lot about how the author and these different veterans want to keep anime and manga like it always has been. Now, there is one thing I do want to point out. There is quite a few funny comments on this post that are talking about the situation. One in particular is this one, and when I saw this, I instantly started laughing. I was just like, bro. Like, there's some unhinged comments, but then, if you start scrolling and you look further, you start seeing some stuff like this. Like, in recent years, I think there's just too many people who want to hide things a bit, aren't there? Or, not limited to manga, I think creation in general is something like the process of refining the creator's quirks into a form that others can consume, which is what I basically just talked about. And once again, this is the Japanese community. This is just translated, by the way, but this is the Japanese community talking about the situation that they want creators to be able to express themselves without limiting themselves, and it would ruin what manga and anime actually is. And like I said, this is good to see. I mean, I'm sad to see that there has definitely been an increase of voices against anime and manga and forcing it to try to censor, but it's clear that the creators within the space are not having it. And so, yeah, you gotta love it. You gotta love how the author of Black Lagoon popped off. By the way, for those that once again want to run down on Clamp, Clamp is a series, or an art style basically, that is known for like Code Geass, the long legs, the long limbs and stuff. It's pretty iconic, and so the fact that, you know, it's all started thanks to this is pretty funny, honestly. It's legitimately funny. But I'm gonna leave it at that. Thank you so much. Be safe. Leave a comment for the algorithm. Does help out with the video. Chibi out.